Hey guys, welcome back to another video. For today's video, we have a little mukbang for you, and we're gonna be answering questions. It's just kind of moving with the flow, see how things go. Just talking while we eat. And we got lechonera. This is our plate. Let's do a thumbnail real quick. So we got pernil, white rice,
some beans,
pernil, white rice, and what are those called? Maduros?
Yeah.
Maduros, and then
red beans.
With a Diet Coke.
The best.
Ooh. And then we got some avocado here. Can we pop this open? Okay. Ooh, fire. Okay, sorry about that. So, what do you want to start off with?
What's the most asked question?
Frequently asked questions?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't do like a little poll. I should have, but I didn't do a poll of like, or a Q&A questionnaire type thing. Ooh, nice. But frequently asked question is, one of them is, are you my boyfriend and do we live together?
Do you want to answer that one?
I'll let you answer.
Okay. So we are dating, but we don't live together.
Nope.
So we're long distance. She lives in Idaho and I live in Florida. But we do visit each other once or twice a month. Like she'll come out here to Orlando or I'll go to Idaho. But that's pretty much what we do.
And then another one is if I'm working or if I'm still a dental assistant is, I guess.
That is a
right. Frequently asked question.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a dental assistant anymore. I haven't been dental assisting for
a couple months, right?
Yeah, it's been a while now.
What do you do for work? Because that's also
frequently asked questions.
That's like the next question they ask when you say you're not.
What would you call it?
I mean, you're like an entrepreneur, so you're starting a business, and you help me. You're like a partner in what we do.
It would be like freelancing. Is it freelancing? No. Freelance type of work?
I mean, you can say you do some freelancing. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I work at home now. You know what? I think we should just vibe and see how it goes, you know? Just kind of answer questions. I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
We should ask each other questions.
Okay. All right. I have a good one here for you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
5 years from now. I'm going to answer that overall. So, like, personal-wise, like personal life, I hope that we are, like, at a place where we could be in the same state. You know what I mean? Because it's difficult going back and forth. I also...
It's fun sometimes, though. Not going to lie.
Is it? The
sometimes
traveling?
Sometimes it can be fun.
That's true. Because you, like, go somewhere else and you explore. You're not there often. Yeah. Also, like, business-wise, I hope that our businesses are at a, like, level where we want it to be. Like, how we're thinking it's going to be. That's pretty much it. How about you?
Whoa. I guess I could agree with you. You know. Also, like, I want to be at a point in life where you don't have to worry, like, about, like, certain things, like finances, type of, you
True.
know. I want to be able to be at that point in life where I don't have to worry about anything. Because being a single mom for so long, I would always have to, like, budget and be careful with what I would spend my money on. Or, like, yeah, I can do that, or no, I can't do that type of thing.
Yeah.
Or have to miss out on a lot of things because I couldn't afford it, or I'd be working all the time, or, you know.
Yeah, and imagine like an emergency comes up, or money that you have to spend that you didn't anticipate. That must be tough too.
Or, like, for example, if you have your kids and going to work all the time too, not necessarily just finances, just at a point where, like, right now I'm just able to be more with my kids since I have 50-50 custody. I see my kids 1 week and then 1 week I don't, so it's like 2 weeks out of the month.
Yeah.
So being at work all the time, I felt like I didn't know my kids because I saw them, like, literally 4 days out of the month because it'd be just a weekend or something.
Wow.
So
That's tough.
Yeah, evolving. You know, eventually I want to get to a point where I can not necessarily, like, influence, but more in the sense as, like, be a good role model for others, especially with women, or not necessarily just women, but I say women just because of what I went through.
Yeah.
Like, being able to voice my story and, like, tell the people. And that being said, like, going through abuse or, you know. So, I want to be able to talk to others.
Yeah.
This is bomb. I've been craving this for so long. So good.
It is good.
We went to Lechonera. By the way, if I didn't tell you guys, this is Lechonera. We got pernil, white rice, maduros, and the beans.
Yeah.
Fire, how are you?
So good. But they give so much food, right? Yeah.
It's like a lot of love, like love in the, you know, it's like Panda Express. They kind of do that too sometimes. But it's so good. I kind of want some avocado on mine too.
Yeah. So okay.
Do you have a question for me, or do you want me to? Oh, I think it's my turn to ask you, right?
Is it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you came from, like.
Okay. So.
That's not a question, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, sorta. Like who are you in a way?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. So I was born in New York in the Bronx, and I moved to Florida when I was like 9. And we moved here because in those days, and even today, the Bronx was crazy, just a lot of crime. It wasn't really a good place to raise a family. So my mom wanted to come to Florida because she heard that Florida was like, you know, a place where you could raise a family and they had good education. And so we ended up coming to Florida. And at first it was difficult. We hated it. New York and Florida are so different. The pace of life is so different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in New York, everything is fast. Like, you can jump on a train and be on the other side of town in like 15 minutes. You know, here you need a car for everything. And my mom, being 30-something years old, she never had a license, like a driver's license. Because you really don't need one in New York, depending where you're at. Yeah. So adjusting to that was very different.
So she learned how to drive around in her 30s.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
she did. And so that was like the first part. And then as I grew, you know, went through high school, I dropped out of college. I just didn't feel like college was for me. You know, I felt like I wanted to pursue owning a business, and I didn't feel like college is something that was like for me. So I just.
What were you going to school for?
Criminal justice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was really like into the criminal field, you know, not just like law enforcement, but every other aspect of it. So,
Mhm.
but I loved it, but I felt like it just wasn't for me at that point. So I dropped out, and I went to not I didn't go to another school, but what I did was I started my own business. Total fail.
Was it with what you have right now, or was it something else?
Yeah, so we were selling clothing for men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my mom and my stepdad have a construction business,
Mhm.
and they were like, you know, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna give you some money, so you can start your own business. So they didn't give me $1,000. They purchased $1,000 worth of clothing for men, and it went terrible. I mean, I lost all of it, and then from there we decided that maybe going another route. We felt like women spend more money than men when it came to clothing and accessories and things like that. So we decided to do that, and it worked out. We made a ton of money. I was able to start my own branding instead of just buying wholesale. And then we ended up branching into other stuff within cosmetics, within skincare. And now we're at a point where we have our own bank, which is exciting. You know, we're just starting. So yeah, I think that's kind of my little journey.
Did you struggle a lot at first?
Yeah, we struggled financially very hard as a kid. When we first came to Orlando, we stayed with family. We didn't have our own space, and finding a job, my mom, it was difficult. Again, with transportation here, it was just very difficult for them to like get on their feet. That's why they started their own construction company. Orlando was kind of just developing at that time. There wasn't a lot of people here, so it was prime time for construction, and that really like paid the bills, set them up to really succeed. And then when I branched off myself, I left my house at 18. I wanted to be out of there, and when I branched out, it was difficult too. You know, I had a low-paying job and had all these bills, and you know, it was just financially it was difficult until like my mid-20s. Yeah.
At what age could you say, like, would you say that you were stable, like, you know?
Probably 29, 30,
Oh,
where
okay.
I felt like, okay, financially everything is where it needs to be, and
No worries.
yeah, no worries. But then you get to a point where you have enough and you're content. But I've always learned not to be content. So that's where I said, you know what, I'm gonna invest in something, and I decided to start my own
Like
banking.
not get too comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. You know, to always want more, not necessarily like you want everything, but you want to make sure that you have another source of income. You know, you want to make sure that there's money still coming in consistently and not just through that one avenue.
Okay, I know you like this part. Do you want this?
Sure, I'll take it. You don't like that part?
What is it?
It's skin.
Yeah, I don't like this part, by the way.
It's called cuero. I love that
Cuero.
part.
I knew you did too.
Yeah,
So.
so good. Thank you. What about your story?
My story, wow, I don't even know where to begin. I come from like a broken family, you could say. As you, that's why we kind of,
Yeah,
I guess you would say we have a lot of similarities.
correct.
So, a lot of people, I don't really talk about it much, but they see that I don't involve myself around my family and, you know, as often as I, you know, a normal family would, I guess.
Yeah.
But I come from a broken family. My real dad was abusive. He was a mujeriego.
Okay.
So I guess you could say that if you guys don't know what that means. It's kind of like a ladies' man type of thing, right? He was always around like other women, and he was a cheater. I think he was on drugs, and he was very abusive. So I don't remember him around often. But yeah, so my mom met my stepdad, and he wasn't it. So I know a couple times him and my mom had split up, but they've been together. But ever since then, I've been trying to mend that relationship with my stepdad, and it's not there. Like, that's why we don't hang out as often as I would want to. But
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I got kicked out when I was 15 years old. So I've been living on my own since I was 15.
Wow.
And yeah, I had my first kid when I was 20, and then my second one when I was 23. Or 23 or 24? I think I was 23. Yeah, 23, because they're 3 years apart. So my kid's father was also abusive, and that's why we're not together, because it was very toxic. And so yeah, I don't know where, like, how would I explain, like, you know, my story as much. We didn't have a lot of money either, but when my parents came up, they started to become more middle class, which when I was living with them, they had 5 kids. There was 5 of us. My mom had 3 kids with my stepdad, 2 girls and 1 boy, and then it was my brother and I from my real dad. So there was 5 of us, and we were like all on the same age. So I do remember we struggled because there was like 5 little mouths to feed, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, kids eat a lot, you know. And so I remember we did struggle a lot for a little bit, but then eventually, like, as we got out of the house and whatnot, my parents became stable and they became more in the middle class. But so then I ended up getting with my kid's dad. I had my daughter and my son, and during the whole time it was just abusive. I wasn't around my family. I didn't have any family support. At that time, I was going to school to be a dental assistant. I had graduated, and I was pregnant with Amira when I graduated.
Wow.
So, and then I was working at Jack in the Box from when I was 15, 16 until I graduated from dental assisting school, and then I became a dental assistant, and then I was doing that. But it was hard. I struggled a lot. I felt like I was lonely most of the time, you know. I felt like I was very, very lonely. Like, I didn't have my mom to go to, or the people who helped me a lot were my grandparents, my grandma, my grandpa, and my aunt. They were there through most of it, but even then it was still hard. I ended up, after I had my son, I ended up, you know, getting to the point where I was like, I can't take this anymore, and I went and put myself in a domestic violence shelter type of deal. And then from there, we were like couch surfing for a while when I was pregnant with Noah. So I feel so bad because, like, my daughter struggled through it with me.
Yeah.
So we kind of, like, you know when they say you grow up together in a sense? Yeah, we grew up together. So
Wow.
I can say, like, finally I got to what age? It was 2019 when I finally felt like life was getting better.
Yeah.
So it was starting to get easier, and it was not easy at all. It was living hell. I felt like I was never going to get out of it. I was always wondering why, like, why me? I was depressed. It was so hard not having money, not having support. And then also, like, when you want government help, you don't get government help because you make too much, and, you know, so.
Yeah.
So eventually, you know, and I was very negative too. Like, after I came out of that, like, I became more me. But yeah, and I still, to this day, like, I try to, like, be around my family, but we just don't have that relationship. So, you know, I think my siblings and I are closer, like my little brother and my sister. But other than that, I think we're all trying to mend our own relationship together. Like, but other than that, we try to keep a close relationship.
Yeah. So, in 2019, you felt like things were progressing, going like the direction you wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully there, but that's when I could, like, say that was, like, finally the year that, like, I didn't have to worry, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was, and I did it alone for a long time. I remember I would like work 2 jobs, and I would work like every single day. And that was at the point when I had my kids all the time. Like I didn't have the 50-50 custody yet. So I had my kids all the time. So it was hard like finding somebody to help you take care of your children, or paying daycare. It was like $800 on top of rent, and
Wow.
it was so expensive. And that was just like one kid. You know, so the other one
for one kid?
Yeah, 800 for one kid a month. So it was very, very hard.
That's crazy.
Well, now things are like, I feel like I told myself in 2019 was the happiest I've ever been, which is true. But now it's like, sometimes I wonder, like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I went through that.
Yeah.
Like, it just through it all, like, you know, there's more in depth to the story than what it is, but it was hard.
What do you think kept you, like, sane? You know, like, not lose it all mentally?
I think my kids did. And I remember I would like cry to God and be like, why me? I can't do this anymore. So it was hard.
That sounds difficult, you know? Like to be in that position, feeling alone and kind of crying out for help, you know? Yeah.
Well, and then at that point too, I remember I was going to church, and I was going to church like 3 times a week. And I was pregnant with Noah, and I would go to church. There was this class that a mutual friend reached out to me and said, hey, come join this class. It's like for the pregnant women. It was like kind of like gathering. So it was me and this other girl. We were in that class, and we learned a lot. It was kind of like support, and we also learned about, you know, church and things like that. But it was more as far as like us being pregnant and us being alone and not having support, and knowing that there's other people there for you to help you. And then I would go on Wednesdays at 7:00 at night. So I would go Monday, Wednesdays, and then I would go on Sunday mornings.
Wow.
So I made it an effort. After work, I remember I would go, and I was in that shelter. So that shelter was scary. Like, those women, like, there was women in there that like really did have issues, and I didn't want to get too comfortable there, because like I would pass down the hallway and I would see women, and their rooms was just filthy, like with stuff. And I always told myself, I'm not gonna get comfortable. I'm gonna overcome this. So I think too, like, I don't want to be just another statistic. I guess you could say, you know? I don't want to be someone who's like, oh, she's just another. Because I got told a lot by my grandparents, oh, you're going to end back with your ex, you're going to end back. And I hated hearing that. Because, yeah, I did go back and forth for a while, but I was like, I'm not going back this time. I'm not going back.
I think it's difficult when you got children. You know, you try to, like,
that's true.
fix it, give it another chance, because, you know, you have sort of a, not a commitment, but like something that keeps you connected, and you try to work it out more than you would a normal relationship, you know?
That's true.
Now let me ask you a question. Going through everything you went through in your life and looking back at it now and where you're at in life right now, would you have changed anything, or would you have gone through the same journey to be the person you are today?
No, I think I would have I feel like you go through things for a reason.
Okay.
And I feel like I went through it for a reason. And it's like to figure out my purpose in a way, you know? So, because like too, I was told, like, I remember my mom telling me like, oh, you're going to follow in my footsteps. And I was like, oh, no, girl, I'm not going to follow in your footsteps. And I was following in her footsteps. Like, I was becoming like what my mom was. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. So that was hard. I kept telling myself, I'm not going to be like my mom.
His bomb.
That was good, huh?
It's amazing.
yeah, so, and I think that's why I do videos too, because I remember I was at a point in my life when I was alone and didn't have anybody, and I would turn to YouTube videos.
Okay.
And I would like stay up all night and watch them, like all night, all day. Watch people do their makeup, like just, it was kind of like an escape from reality.
Yeah.
And then I always told myself, oh, I want to be like that for somebody else, like for them to escape their reality. So that's why like I do these videos. And you know, it's weird to me because I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's me. I don't know if that really does help someone or change somebody's reality for like 10 minutes, however long, a 3-minute video. So
yeah,
because my life isn't perfect, I've gone through things too, and like some people just assume that your life is perfect, or like, you know, they assume things about you when really it's not true. So, and I felt like I could be myself in front of the camera.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting that YouTube pretty much was an escape for you, and now you want that same feeling for someone else. That's awesome.
Yeah. I started watching YouTube in like 2015. And like, I kid you not, I binge watched YouTube. I binge watched it.
Wow.
Every single video that I knew that was out there. I started watching Nicole Guerrero, Jaclyn Hill, and like their videos were my escape.
Yeah.
There's like this girl named Life Beam, or I Love Being a Mommy, and her name is Liz too, and I would watch her videos too, and I would see because she was like a mom, and you know, so it was escape. Lord DIY, Alex Wasabi, like I just got hooked. And I always told myself, I'm gonna be what they are to somebody else.
And I've seen people reach out and be inspired, or, you know, thank you for giving them that escape. So I think you've accomplished some of that already. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I say, like, I want to be, like, eventually in the future, I want to be like that person, like a role model sense, because of things I've gone through. I like want to write a book, and I started writing a book, but I started writing like a journal, because that's also an escape. Like, I don't know, like journaling, writing your feelings out is like a little escape to me. So I write, kind of like I'm writing to myself, you know?
Yeah.
Some people think it's silly, but really, it really does help you a lot. Like, whatever you're feeling, like, don't bottle it in, you know? I remember not too long ago, I wrote myself like this prompt where, like, to my younger self, and I think I read it to you.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy how, like, you write something down, and then, like, a year later, you come across it, and it's like, wow, whatever I said a year ago, I achieved, or, you know, things that I said in there came to life, or, so it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's like you kind of write what you want to see at some point in your life, and then when you see it, you can't believe that it actually came true, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of like the law of attraction in a way.
But too, like to me it was weird, because I'm like, I wrote that? Like, it was so weird for me to see like something that I wrote, and then like that's how I was feeling a year ago. Like, you know, like,
yeah,
you can hear it in, like, when you're reading it, you can sense like how you were feeling a year ago, like if you were depressed, sad, happy, like, you know. It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I'm like, wow, I didn't know, like seeing it from a different perspective. But
yeah, I've done that too, not journaling, but I've written something and then I go back to it like years later. I'm like, wow, like your mind evolves so much from that point too, you know. Like your expectations at that point and at this point are completely different. Yeah. But any other questions that we get asked?
I mean, I feel like we answered the main questions.
True.
My kids do also are 50-50 custody, so they go 1 week with their father and 1 week with me, and they are in the same school, so their father takes them to school the 1 week, and then I take them to school the other week, and it's not like they go to different schools.
Yeah.
So, and they have met you.
They have met me. They've been to Orlando.
They have been. You've gone to Idaho.
I've gone to Idaho. They've met my daughters. We all get along, all of us, you know.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much.
Also, another one, do I like Idaho more than Florida? At first, I would claim that I didn't. Because when you're from somewhere, like, my roots will always be Idaho. I feel like Idaho will always be home, in a sense. But because I'm from there, I grew up there. 27 years, you know, of my life I've been in the same area. I haven't gone anywhere else, but it's good to see something else that I've never experienced in my life before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've traveled, but I've never like been to the East Coast. I think I've been to Chicago, but that's not really the East. That's more central, right?
Yeah.
It's more central, I guess. So this is the farthest I've ever been was Florida, and I never imagined in a million years I would have been out in Florida.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, Idaho was kind of what I expected, but I feel like you guys have so much space, you know, compared to like Orlando, where everything is pretty much taken at this point. You know, like there's nothing really left. So that was different. But I like Idaho. I don't think I could live there, but it's like it's also an escape from like the chaos too, you know. It's a nice place to go and escape.
It's a little. You've always been there in the cold, so I want you to see it what it's like in the spring and the summer, because it's really pretty.
Yeah,
it's really pretty in the summer, especially when you go up in the mountains, like you're hiking or you're just like in the mountains, like I said. So
yeah, I gotta check it out.
It's so fun, so beautiful.
Yeah,
it's like breathtaking. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there were such things like this, like the water, the mountains, the trees. Yeah. I grew up camping and stuff, so it's crazy to see like two different, you know, worlds coming together.
Like I grew up in the city and then came to Orlando, and it's become a city, so you know.
It's becoming like more city, like it's so packed over there. It's getting so like crowded. To think like before, back in the day, it was not like that. It was so calm, it was so quiet, and now like it's so chaotic and it's getting expensive.
It's like, where do all these people come from, you know? Same here in Orlando. Orlando used to be so small, and now it's like a major city, you know? So it's super different.
I have another question. I have a few questions here.
Okay.
So that just came across my mind. Are you finished? Sorry, I don't want to...
No, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So what did you think when you first met me? Because I know you see me on TikTok. A lot of people want to know how we met. We did not meet through Tinder or any of that. And it's funny because like Tinder has to be like your local area. So I'm in Idaho and you're in Florida. So like unless we're in the same area, and I've never been to Florida.
And I've never been to Idaho.
So and I actually didn't have Tinder. Like I had Tinder before years back, but I got off that trend. It was the people you meet on there, and that's for a different story. Like maybe like a different video. Maybe we can explain like crazy dates or something. Yeah. Crazy people that we've met. But anyway, we met through TikTok. Do you want? I'll let you answer this one because.
Yeah. What was the question again?
No, just us meeting. Well, that's not the question yet, but I just wanted to tell them first.
How we met?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, someone that works with me had seen her on TikTok, and at the time we were looking for different influencers to talk about some products that we were coming out with. So, they reached out to her and asked her if she would be interested in doing some promo work. And she said yes initially, right? You had some concerns.
Actually, so I was on a live one time.
Oh.
And it was like pretty late, and somebody was like, "Oh, work for us," and it was your company. And on my live, I was like, "That sketch, I don't know, but DM me." And I was just like playing around, like I was like, because I never knew of people reaching out for you like through things like that. Because I come from a small town.
Yeah, no.
So like never in my life I was like, "That's sketch, but DM me." And she DM'd me. She DM'd me, so.
Yeah. So once they reached out to her, they sent me her information. And I saw you on TikTok prior, like months ago or weeks ago. I saw like a video of you at work eating and stuff, but I really didn't pay too much mind to it. I was just going through TikTok.
That's so weird.
I know, super weird. And so when I got your TikTok and like your information, and I looked, I was like, oh, I've seen her before, and I was like, yeah, we definitely could work with her. And then I reached out to you, right?
No.
No?
I reached out to you because who you had told me, gave me your information.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, gave me your information, your what
phone
she gave
number?
me,
Or
your phone number, and then
Instagram, maybe.
Yeah, I think she gave me all of that. I don't
Okay.
remember, but she said, "Oh, you can reach out to him," and then she's like sent me like the Google Maps or something, the Google Calendar or something like that,
Okay.
to make like to pencil me in for like a meeting or something like that. And I didn't want to do that, so I just called directly.
Okay. Yeah, and then
I was
after
so
that,
scared. I was like, oh my gosh, because I've never done that before. So I was just like, how's this gonna go? Do I have to sound professional? Like, you guys were the first people that I like. And I had people reaching out to me before, like I had like during that time frame, which I don't know, I just turned everybody down. I was like, that is so weird.
So why us? Because
I
like
don't know.
messaging or actually on live, sending you live, you felt like, wait a minute, that's weird.
I don't know what happened, but I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm not sure what clicked, but I did it because other people were reaching out. Hey, we want to work with you, work with us, make videos for us, and things like that. And I was just like, I don't know. And I've never heard of your product before. And so we talked on the phone. And
then we sent you the product first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we talked on the phone, and it was a few hours.
The first time, right? Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, gotta go, bye. Like, feel bad for keeping you on. But then we talked again on the phone, I believe. I don't know. I think we talked several times, but
On the phone?
yeah, the first time was like, but I was gonna say, what'd you think of me, like when you met me, to like when you really, really met me?
To be honest, it was like the same. You know, I mean, when we first met, it was a little bit like we're both holding back a little bit because it's the very first time you're meeting someone.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like you were the same that I imagine, and from what I've seen on your TikToks and stuff, you were pretty much the same. Yeah.
Don't lie.
No, I'm being honest.
But no, like because you met me like through social media.
Yeah.
So how different was that, like when you met me to like when you actually got to know me, if that makes sense?
So the thing is, like, you are the same person you are whether you're in front of the camera or off. So it's like it's the same.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like your personality is the same. You're just the same. Yeah. But also there's another side of you too that people don't get to see. You know what I mean? Like you're very like, I mean, I'm sure they know you're kind and stuff, but you like really go out of your way to make people feel good, to make sure that everyone is, you know, taken care of even before you take care of yourself. So, you know, there's good qualities like that may not be shown on TikTok or YouTube.
Because they only see like
3 minutes
of your day.
Yeah.
They want to automatically assume everything about you, but
yeah.
Or like, why don't you ever show your kids? Or, you know, and my kids like will be there if they want to, if they don't want to. I also don't feel comfortable always showing them, you know, because I don't want to take that from them, like their privacy in a sense.
Yeah.
So, especially too because my daughter goes to school and some people see my TikToks, some kids, and they're like, oh, we see your mom, and that just makes her, she's very protective. So, like, I think a little girl one time told her, oh, your mom is flaca, and she's like, which means skinny. But I don't think she knows what that means.
Oh.
And so my daughter got defensive, and she told her stuff back. And I think, she told her stuff back, and then she got in trouble. But she's very protective. So I just don't want to, like, ever take... She loves doing this stuff. She's also the same as me, very creative and likes to be in front of the camera. But
that's true.
She's funny. She's cute. Noah, in a sense right now, he's at the age where he doesn't like taking pictures. If you try to make him take a picture, he automatically turns down and is like, he like will purposefully ruin the picture or video or whatever you were trying to take because he's like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you got like a second to get him, or it's over after that, you know?
And it's so hard because you keep trying to tell him to look or do this, and he'll do a face or look that way, or like he won't do it. So
Yeah.
he's very different. I think maybe when he grows up more, but right now he's at the Or if he'll see me recording, he'll be like, "Hey guys, welcome back to your video," you know. But other than that, he will ruin the video or photo or whatever you're trying to take. So I think people want to know too, and I've answered this too, like who made the first move.
Yeah. Just go ahead and tell them. Who made the first move? Mm-hmm.
It was me.
Oh, you.
Both
definitely.
times. And the reason why I say both times is because, okay, we were working at a professional level.
Yeah. We were.
And I was like.
Business, straight up business.
Yeah, like I was scared to even say anything, like even reply, like anything that, even if it was still professional, like I was just like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, I think one time. And then that's when eventually I already had done the video for you. Your company
Yeah,
sent me
true.
the products. I tried them out, and I gave you my honest opinion on them. I
Mhm.
remember, and I really did fall in love with some of your products. I
Yeah.
was like, hey, like I really like this one. This one's my favorite. This one, this. So, and I use them till this day. So,
Yeah.
but there was a point in time. I think it was on a Saturday, and we were already kind of talking at that, not necessarily talking, but I was like, oh, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, you too, and I never replied back to you that day. But the next day you sent me a video to review.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was business. It was like a video to review. And then I was like, oh, I think I replied and I told you how I felt about it. And then I was like, oh, I miss you or something like
Yeah.
that.
You sure did. And when I got that text, I was like, okay. So it's like you open a door for it to be more than business. So
And
yeah,
then
you
it
did.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I first met him, it was me again. Because it was like during both of our birthdays, because our birthdays are not that
Oh,
far
yeah.
from each other.
Like 10 days, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 10 days.
Mhm. And he had like a birthday gift for me, and like he had got 2 hotel rooms, one for me and one for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed in one, he stayed in one, right next door to each other. But
Yeah.
he was
That's
like, oh,
so
this
true.
is your room, these are your gifts. And I opened them, and
then you were very grateful for the gift. But
oh
yeah,
my God,
that was the
thank
first
you.
day you got there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, what's funny is like I was only there in Florida for a day. Literally one
Yeah,
day.
one full day, yeah.
Because I was supposed to get here earlier that day, but my flights, since the minute I got dropped off at the airport, my flights were being delayed, canceled.
Yeah. And when you left too.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
true. When I left too,
Yeah.
and then like I would miss my connecting flight to whatever one, so we had to purchase another ticket for another airline, and that's why we only fly Delta right now.
Yeah.
Because before it was like
Any airline, basically, you know. But no, now it's Delta. They're, in our opinion, they're the most reliable. Like, there's been cancellations, but usually it's like the next flight is like an hour or two later. It's not that bad, you know. But they try to accommodate. But some other airlines still cancel, and they won't even tell you what's going on.
I remember when I was going back home, you dropped me off super early, and I had to stay at the airport until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon because that was the next flight.
Yeah. And that's when we purchased another flight, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we purchased another flight. They didn't have it till 4 though. So
That's wild. Yeah.
crazy.
That was pretty crazy.
Wow. But another thing too, I wanna say is like me making videos or doing videos. I know some people would probably like ask or question like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. The thing is, like, when she first started coming around more, she wouldn't film as often. And I can tell there was something off. So, like, I've always told her, you can film. Like, I know this is what you do, and this is a great opportunity. You're in another state, you know. So I've always encouraged her to film. So most of the time is me reminding her, hey, you should do a video of this, or giving her ideas so that she can continue. And some people feel like, oh, you know, you shouldn't film. You should just enjoy your time. But we are enjoying our time because she films for like 30 seconds and then we're doing what we set out to do. So it doesn't bother me. I actually want her to continue and film and do whatever.
The most I film is would be something like this.
Yeah, correct.
But we put our time aside, but other than that, if it's like a TikTok, it's only 3 minutes the most. There's nothing more than that, so it's not like it interferes with.
Yeah, no, not at all.
With any of your time. And I do film less often though, like when I'm around you. At first it was because I was shy, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, sometimes you get lost in the moment when you're filming, like, oh, good angle this, or, you know. And I always told him that, but I think he understands because he knows that's what I do and that's what I like to do because it's a hobby. It's always been a hobby. That's how he met me.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like if it was just somebody random that I had just met that doesn't know that's what I do, I remember I would explain, like, they'd be like, oh, what do you like to do for fun? And I'd say, make videos. And then people are like, make videos? Like, nobody knows, like, what kind of videos? Like, those videos? And it's like, no, like, challenges. Or, you know, like, you get shy. You're like, oh, my gosh, do I sound like a total, like, nuthead right now? But I feel like you know the background of that, too, especially because you kind of are in that. You know you are on the business side more.
Yeah.
So
for sure. And like you said, it's usually like a 3-minute video at most. And I think the only thing that we've done that has been ours is live, but it's again because I encourage her, you know, to be like, hey, go on live and capture this or that, and then we both get lost in it because it is a lot of fun, to be honest. You know, people like to ask us questions, and you know, so it's fun. It's
really fun. Yeah. And you also get to like communicate with us. I wish like you could see people's, you know, faces, like, you know, if it pops up.
Yeah.
But you can't. So, you know, that's just kind of a thing where it's hard. But.
Or like if everyone is asking questions at the same, it just goes crazy. And you're trying to answer everything.
Yeah, it's so quick. You're like, oh my gosh, like, hold on. And it's repetitive, so that's why we wanted to do more of a video like this. I hope we answered some of your questions, especially those most common questions.
Yeah.
And then I hope this also helped you guys understand us a little bit more as far as like who he is and where he comes from and who I am and where I come from. Because I'm not very personal. I never like to talk about my personal life, but I feel like, yeah, it is more in the sense like, I'm your friend and you guys look at me as like, you know, you want to know. It's like me in the sense of when I look up to my favorite influencers, you know. And you just want to know what their day is like or what they're doing or how they do it. But there's just times where, you know, you just don't want to film everything about your life. And because it does get very consuming, but it's fun. It's fun. I make time for it. I'm here for it. I love it. I love all of you guys, your support. You know, for me, my family, and now us.
Yeah, and I appreciate the support that we've gotten because, you know, people are super positive about us. You know, they like to see us, and I didn't plan to be in this part of your world like that. You know, it wasn't something that I planned.
No, you always made that clear.
Yeah, I always wanted to separate, you know, because like I respect what you've built a lot, you know, but how did we even get to that
I think at first, like, I don't know, I think eventually, because I did talk to you about it and I said, no, I never want to like expose you to that side of life. Just because like I feel like a relationship should be private.
Correct.
But in the sense too, like, we're not super like out there like that. Some people like say way too much, or, you know, I think we know what to say and what not to say.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, like, you know, when you go on Facebook and everybody's like talking about, oh, I was fighting with my man, this and that. We're not like that. We're not those type of people. We've never been those type of people to like just blabber everything out like that. Like, so, like a platform or something that says too much about you, or like, yeah, we were fighting and this and that, or I kicked him out, he kicked, or, you know, things like that you would see. So we just, plus we are very like respectful of each other, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not perfect.
Of course.
But for the most part, we do get along very well.
Yeah.
We do have disagreements here and there, but there's times where I'm like, oh, okay, I see his point of view, and then I'm like, oh, okay, and then he sees mine, and we just kind of, you know.
We learn too, like, we're two different people. with two different backgrounds, so we're coming together and kind of learning each other, you know. So that does take time, but I think that we've done pretty good, you know, overall.
Especially because of the age difference. A lot of people ask us too, like, I'm 27, he's 35. There's an 8-year age gap, which it doesn't feel like it. And a lot of people too ask, like, hey, he's so serious. He's so... Out of both of us, I'm the one that's more out there like that.
Yeah.
But he is very calm.
Yeah,
serious,
more like...
observing.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Very observing.
So coming from like a business world into like social media, it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's cool. I like it, and we've gotten pretty positive response. So,
and we want to continue to do things like this, just because we have fun doing it and you guys enjoy it. So let us know. You know, comment down below what videos you'd like to see. We also we do have a channel together. Yeah. We want to do podcasts, like, you know, just where we just talk about anything, any topic, you know? Yeah. And then a TikTok too. We have our TikTok, so I'll link it down below. But we want to start making more videos together in the sense as like cooking videos, like your background. So as far as like Puerto Rican food, Mexican food, and combining the two. Because I've never had your type of food, you've never really had my type of food, and, you know. Yeah. Just coming together and
I agree.
Doing things like that, challenges, things like that.
Pranks. My failure prank.
No, it wasn't. I'll give it to you. Because I was like, is it true? Like, I didn't know, but... Yeah. But yeah, guys, this is it for today's video. I enjoyed actually sitting here and eating with you and...
Just talking now.
We want to continue to do more videos like that. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment, like, share. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.